Hey, hello Bio, this is Mr. B, and we're finishing up our chapter on photosynthesis today. We are in section 3, and we're going to look at kind of some specifics about the reactions of photosynthesis, so where it actually occurs, kind of how it occurs is what we're going to look at today. So the first part we need to examine is inside the chloroplast. So in plants, photosynthesis takes place inside chloroplast. So we've all heard of this organelle before, so this should not be news to anyone else. It should be review that the photosynthesis occurs inside of the organelle called chloroplast. So now we're going to get an in-depth look at the chloroplast. So chloroplasts contain what are called thylakoids, and those are sac-like photosynthetic membranes. So if you look down, you can see a bunch of stacks. They almost look like little flat pancakes or donuts or something like that. So one of these, that's like just say this one at the top, is known as a single thylakoid. So thylakoids are arranged in stacks known as grana, and a singular stack is called the granum. So this one stack here of thylakoids, it's what's going to make up a granum, and all of these stacks inside of here are what are called grana. So we have thylakoid, and then we have granum or grana. And so then breaking it down even more, proteins in the thylakoid membrane organize chlorophyll and other pigments into clusters called photostems, which are light collecting units of the chloroplast. So if we go to a thylakoid and we just take one individual one, slice it open inside its membrane, remember a membrane is something that just wraps around the outside, we are going to find what are called photosystems. So we have photosystems lie inside a thylakoid, and a bunch of thylakoid make up a granum, which all make up the chloroplast. And the reactions of the photostems include the light-dependent reactions, which means light is needed, and the light-independent reactions, which mean light is not needed, or the Calvin cycle. And the light-dependent reactions take place within the thylakoid membranes, and the Calvin cycle takes place in the stroma, which is the region outside of the thylakoid membrane. So to see this a little bit better, so now this is a view if we literally sliced a chloroplast right in half, and we're looking at it from up top. So these are all of our grana, so our thylakoid stacks making up the grana. We can see the light-dependent reactions occur inside of there, and then all this other space out here, where it's kind of the pale green, is what's known as the stroma, and that's where the Calvin cycle or the light-dependent reactions or light-independent reactions will occur. So know that this picture, what you're looking at here, that this is if we sliced a chloroplast and looked at it from a top view. And going back to something we mentioned a little bit earlier about what actually happens in the process of photosynthesis. So when electrons in the chlorophyll absorb sunlight, the electrons gain a great deal of energy, and cells use electron carriers to transport these high-energy electrons from chlorophyll to other molecules. So we have a bunch of excited, really high-energy electrons, but they can't move by themselves, so they need something to carry them. That is where electron carriers come into play. So one electron carrier molecule is known as NAD+, and then electron carriers, such as NAD+, transport electrons. So they're pretty much like the chauffeur for the electrons. They're going to get them to where they need to go. And so NADP+ can only hold so many. It can hold 2 high-energy electrons along with a hydrogen ion, and then that turns it from NAD+ to NADPH. So it just it only has so much room. The chauffeur only has so much room inside its car, so it's only going to hold our 2 high-energy electrons plus a hydrogen ion, and this is going to change it a little bit. And so this conversion, when it occurs, is one way some of the energy of sunlight can be trapped in chemical form. So NADP+, when it grabs a hold to the 2 electrons and the NAD and the hydrogen ion and becomes NADPH, it traps chemical energy into a way that we can use it. And then the NADPH carries these high energy electrons to chemical reactions elsewhere in the cell. So photosynthesis isn't our only reaction. Other things will occur. And these high energy electrons are used to help build a variety of molecules the cell needs, including carbohydrates like glucose. So the building of glucose is the main thing because that is the main food for the plants. So that is it for our photosynthesis. If you have any questions, let me know.